Stay connected to Larry Reid Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube page, and hit the bell. Text Larry Reid Live to 33222. That's the words Larry Reid Live, no spaces, to 33222, and get notified when we go live. Become a member of Patreon today by logging on to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Download the Patreon app and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.
This platform discusses any and all information that has been made known to the public in any way. If the information creates convo that needs to be had, then it could become a feature story here on the LRL platform. Now remember, I am not a journalist. I'm just a commentator. And the information that I share here, I want you to always assume that it is alleged, whether it is a live broadcast or a post. But my commentary will always be real. Tell not that daughter every done body that Larry Live is on. Let's go. Welcome to Larry Reid Live. Here we are at 11:58 a.m. on March the 23rd. Well, now it is actually 12:02 a.m. on March the 24th. My name is Larry Reid, and I'm the host of, that's right, Larry Reid Live, and I am here whenever I'm here. I'm not going to tell you I'm here on Mondays at 7 p.m. anymore until I'm back on Mondays at 7 p.m. I'm just going to be popping up, so you need to make sure that you do not miss when I pop up, because you never know what's going on in our communities or in our world. What you need to do right now is text the word Larry Reid Live with no spaces in it at all to 33222. That's the phone number you put in there, 33222. If you do that, you will always be texted before I go live. I just texted about 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 of you just now. So let's go ahead and get into the conversation. Well, this is what transpired just a few minutes ago. I was minding my business, as I love to do. Actually, I had an interview with DJ Richie, who's a wonderful vlogger, and that was at 3 p.m. And then I had to meet with it's a group of millionaires, and I'm sitting in there learning. A group of millionaires, people who gross and generate millions a year. And we meet every single week. I've been in this for months, and we learn from each other. And so I was doing that. And then after I got to that, on Tuesdays, I always have to meet with my accountant. And so we're on FaceTime doing what we do. And somebody hit me up and said, Kerrion Franklin is on IG. And my first emotion was good, because I hadn't seen any posts or any interaction for a period of days. And I sent him a text, how are you doing? Actually, it's through IG. I hope you're doing well. Are you doing all right? I ain't seen you online. What's going on? Because that's just my natural thought process. With all this that's going on, let me say this retainer, I want to take it. It's Invisalign. It's wearing me. And it got me aching and talking funny. Anyway, And so this is my natural thing. I want to know, what's going on, what has been transpiring, and how are you doing? No response. So when they told me he was on live, I said, okay, well, that's good. At least I do know he is alive. Because all this pressure, you just don't know how he's going to manage this. I've actually thought the same thing concerning cussing Curtis Franklin. Anyway, so I said, hold on, accountant, let me just see what's going on. And when I went in there, I think I said, well, it's good to see that you are on. And everybody in there started saying, Larry Live is on, Larry Live is on, Larry Live is on, Larry Live is on. And he said, oh, he's really in here? And I was like, yes. And he said, I don't know, he really in here? So I requested for him to let me in. And he accepted, and I came live. So he had been already on for a few minutes, and then I got on. So this was impromptu, and this was a conversation. This was not an interview. But because I had the opportunity to speak with him, I wanted to speak with him. I forgot that I was Larry Live at the beginning of the conversation, and that my name is Larry, your name is Kerrion. We are two black men who have been raised with parents in music, who have done a considerable amount to the gospel community, although my mom and him didn't do as much as his daddy did. But still, that was the world we lived in. I was molested. He was molested. And this is alleged molested because out of his mouth, he is not saying that. And if he had kept the live up, you would have seen how I was midway the conversation. I said, okay, now we've warmed up to each other. We've only been dealing through IG. We've never had a conversation on the phone. Then I was like, okay, since I got him here, let me begin to ask him some interview-ish questions. And I can tell his heart was open to me because he said, out of all of the bloggers, and I want every blogger to listen to me, out of all the bloggers, he said, the reason why I liked you and I kicked it with you and I thought you were cool is because when you covered the audio that I had posted, you said that we both were wrong. He said everybody else was taking either my daddy's side or taking my side or either and bashing my daddy. He said you did not take either one of our sides, but you told the truth. And the truth that you told, if we listen to you, it can make us better. He said, that's why I like what you said. Let me tell all of you vloggers something who want, like I do, to be able to have conversations with these people whose business privacy comes out in publication. These are human beings. And all of these people want to know that you see them as a human being. Now, we got to do our job, which sometimes seems heartless, judgmental, critical. But in the back of my mind, I never forget that I'm dealing with people, whether it's the predator, the accused, or the victim, or the accuser. I always remember that these are people. And clearly, him being the kind of person he is, he was able to sense and feel that I was that type dude. So he felt safe enough. And so we began to have conversation, and then I began to ask him key questions because I did not know if he was going to ever commit to an interview, although he said he would. Now, everybody has been calling him. I mean, if these people had called you for your story, you would have got on that phone, flew over there to the studio and had the interview because they're that level of people that have been calling him. But he didn't do it because he felt as though everybody was being selfish and being one-sided, but he would talk to me because he trusted my viewpoint. I don't mean to beep my horn, but beep, beep. In the midst of doing this job, and I'm clowning people a lot of times, and I'm giving my opinion. It's good to know that the love place and concern place that I do this from, especially when it comes to certain stories, can be detected and be discerned by even the people that are involved in the story. Y'all, I pastored for 20 years before I went into this. I love people, and I am concerned about people, no matter what it may look like. And I'm glad that that skill of talking to people and connecting with people where they are really worked to my benefit in this conversation, because he could feel that I was not coming at him like he was a story. And I won't, because I really wanted to know. At one point, I got really comfortable and something. I throw the nigger word around, and he got triggered. He probably wouldn't say he was triggered. He probably would call it something else, but I will say that he was triggered. His face changed, said, "Don't call me that." And he said, "Because my father always called me nigger." And he used it in a way that was like condescending to me. He made a mention how he saw a post when Kurt Franklin was with Tammy, and he said, "It's good to know that I am still her N-word," but he didn't write the word out. He was saying how he thought that sometimes his father done a certain kind of movement to appear a certain way to us, but not be the real Kurt. He also said that he knew that sharing that audio was wrong to do. And he sort of alluded to the reason why that he did it. And this is so paramount for me, because I needed to know that he knew that sharing that audio was not right. I did not feel he was doing it for clout. Anybody that says that he is doing what he is doing and have done for clout don't understand clout chasers. Let me tell you what clout chasers do. They use your name to get views, to get engagement, and they take any opportunity and chase opportunity to use your name or story in order to get views. I decided when I built Larry Live, I won't build in my platform that way. I built my platform talking about how the church needed to go beyond the four walls. I mean, I stayed on this for like 6 months. Go beyond the four walls and even begin to establish church on the internet for people who ain't coming to them four walls. And then I began to talk about, at that time, it was, what's the white girl? Clinton. The politics and all that stuff that was happening out there and black folk getting shot up. That's how the show started. And then as stuff became public, I began to do everybody's story on what was going on out there. And I won't tagging them or nothing. People just wanted to hear what I had to say. And so I needed to know that he knew he was wrong, and he did. And he owned that. But one of the things I did not see in this whole ordeal and have yet to see was any ownership on Kurt Franklin's end. Any ownership on the mama's end. That's concerning to me. Because when people will not at least articulate where they have wronged in a situation, Kurt apologized for cussing in front of us, his fans. He was very purposeful in explaining how toxic his son was. And he said that not just me, but the whole family has a toxic relationship with the son. That was a whole problem for me, and it was a red flag. It is very clear to me, after talking to Kerrion, that Kerrion is a very he's, for number one, he's just like his daddy. That's number one. Just like his daddy. Number two, that he's a very open, creative, very expansive, extraordinary thinker and creative. That's what I think. I think that he probably does indulge in substances and some form of addiction, because his daddy had some form of addiction and indulged in some things. So I'm pretty sure. I do think that with what many people have said in the media, it makes us look at him as a drug addict or as someone who, is just trying to find the next high. That may be right and it may be wrong, but I think we haven't considered that we don't know the whole story. Possibly. But while communicating with him, I was able to have a conversation. I've talked to some of y'all on Beyonce's internet, And y'all can't go for one. I post one thing, you posted something totally different. So I'm not going to look at the moments where we weren't clear on both ends in the conversation, say, oh, that's the cause of using drugs. Because some of y'all in the comments is just as dizzy and dusty as possible in your dome piece. But anyway, now, one of the things that he said to explain why he dropped the first audio, and I'm going to get to the molestation thing. I tried to get there, but, anyway. The first thing he said, he narrowed it down to an African proverb. I'm going to read this African proverb. He said, a child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth, the warmth of the fire. And that was very intriguing to me. So it was really a cry for help, like I said. It was really him reaching out for an embrace beyond his family, because he said his family basically dropped him and that now he was done. He said, but he's felt the warmth from everybody discussing this and some people understanding his plight. He's actually felt some form of warmth or embrace. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're going to be a village and we're going to be the black community, what I know that we really are, we must get rid of the conversation that's going on surround Kerrion, what's his mama name, Sean, and Kirk. The conversation that puts Kerrion in an inferior position as relates to the ability to express himself and tell the truth about his experience. We're going to have to do that. You know why we have to do it? Because he's a representation of black millennials. He's a representation of all of the fathers that have in some way, somehow abandoned their child, which is the key word that Kirk and the mom said that he was not abandoned. I don't agree with that. Yes, he was. And not only abandoned, but alienated and ostracized. And that's not me taking Kerrion's conversation only. I thought that before I spoke to Kerrion, but I couldn't put it on them until I spoke to Kerrion. Now I'm very clear in my commentary. Oh, yes, you did. Kirk Franklin, we absolutely love and respect you and love your music that passes as gospel, but really ain't. But anyway, we love you. But go get your son. Now he's saying he threw, but what I hear in there, no, he wants his father's approval. Now he gonna say that's not true, because in the conversation I was alluding to some of these things, and he ended up really saying, well, yeah, I do want the love of my family. But he didn't articulate it like that. But I know that's the truth. Just like I know I'm black. I know that's the truth. And he wants that embrace. But this is the hard truth. Kerrion, it ain't gonna happen until your mama and daddy are ready to deal with the wound that they caused you to be born in. Look at their ages when you were born. Dealing with you, Kerrion, because of how you are, you tell the truth and you put it right out there. For that generation that had babies and had sexual activity in secrecy in the church, you can't throw that on them. I had to learn that about my parents. There's some conversations I just can't have with them, because that's like taking someone who's lived a certain way all these years and now wanting them to come stand in their pain and their dirt that they have ignored and medicated and probably so disconnected from it, feel like it ain't never really happened. And Kerrion, that's not going to happen. And I could not say this with him on the phone because it's our first conversation. I could not approach this conversation like I was interviewing. I had to be a human talking to another human that's been hurt by their parents. I mean, because really that's more comfortable for me than actually conducting an interview. because I'm naturally inquisitive and I just love everybody and find everything interesting. But it's not going to happen 9 times out of 10 unless you got some special parents. There are few in that generation that I know that's like that, but very few. And that's not going to happen because your mom is going to have to explain why in the whole hell and the heaven, according to Kerrion, you ain't spoke to him in 5 years. And with all this stuff that just happened, you texting and ain't picking up your phone and calling your baby, your only son. And you the one that's supposed to have all the degrees and know how to handle folk with trauma. Call your son and quit texting. Do you hear me? I'm talking from a parent to a parent. Call your son. Get a ticket, fly where he is, and talk. This all out here. And y'all talking through cameras, and talking through vloggers, and talking through Tamron Hall, and talking through Larry Reid Live, and talking through Armand Wiggins, Tasha K, whatever we report, the Wiley Show, all that's coming through media. Sit your hand down. Leave the phones outside, you and your son, and then Kerrion and Curtis. I need for you. First of all, let me say this before I say that. I asked him about the audio that Armand played that was leaked by Trey Jones, C.J. Williams. Now, I can't speak to their relationship. Kerrion did make some comments concerning what their relationship was and was not. I can't speak on that. I don't know. I'm going to tell you what he said. But he said he didn't want to give answer or legitimize or confirm anything that wasn't said out of his mouth. With him saying that, 2 things came to my mind. Number one, which is very clear to me, this boy respect his father. And he honors his dad. According to him, he ain't never cussed at his daddy. It's all his daddy acting like that. That's what he said. Now, but something, and maybe I shouldn't say this, something happened that Kerrion is not going to disclose. Was it molestation? We don't know. Does that matter? Yes, it matters. But maybe in the bigger scheme of things as it relates to healing and moving forward, it doesn't. Because it seems as though that's not the issue. The issue is how the father is relating to the son and how the son is relating to the father, and they're doing it in a very painful, disjointed, maybe even toxic way. And so it cannot move forward. Curtis, I'm going to tell you like I just said to this Sean Ewing, whatever. What I am, how you say the name, Nancy? I'm going to try to get it right. What is it? Ewing. It's what? Ewing, okay. Ewing. All right. Ain't nobody hear you know it because I hear your mic on your mic. You won't even unmic. Anyway, Curtis, cussing. Curtis Franklin. Get in a plane. And I seen you here at Del Frisco. I with my bishop. You can afford Del Frisco. You can afford a plane ticket to LA from Texas. Go to LA, where your son is at. You might have to take somebody with you to hold the cell phones while y'all outside in the hall. Let them hold the cell phones in the hall, and y'all go in and talk by yourself. So y'all can discuss everything. Even if it's the alleged molestation. Because it's possible This is the second thing that came to my mind when he said he won't verify. That he said the word molest, but didn't mean it in the sense of sexual violation. Because I noticed in talking with him, he dances in a very artistic way with certain word meanings and phrases to explain himself. So he possibly could have done that. My point is this: take your 5'2" or 4'9", however tall he is, but he little. Take your hand over there to LA. Get somebody to hold both y'all phones and ain't nobody recording nothing. Strip down. Pat down. Shouldn't say strip. Pat down. Go on up in that room and have a conversation and discuss every darn thing. And make a decision. Y'all ain't coming out of that room until resolve on some level, or at least, hold on, I ain't gonna say resolve because it's not gonna happen in a moment, that y'all hear each other. Now that can happen in a moment. You don't need no third party. John Drummond wasn't a good choice, no way. He's an alleged criminal. You Google him, he got stuff going on. You don't need him. You done had T.D. Jakes on the phone allegedly. He won't confirm that, but he sort of did confirm it. Y'all go talk. Nobody's gonna touch each other. Nobody's gonna cuss each other. You're just gonna hear each other and make a decision that then y'all gonna go on individual therapy and then therapy together and fix this father-son relationship in front of the whole world. I mean, we won't know everything that's going on, but at least we'll know y'all working on it. That can help these other fathers out here who's had babies outside of the marriage that they want the world to see in the perfect family. That gotta be fixed. I think that's the reason why so many pastors hiding so many babies right now. Because the woman they married to, who the whole church loved and the world knows as first lady, they don't want to include the babies outside of their marriage so they can keep that picture perfect look. This gotta be fixed. I asked Kerrion if you can say one thing as it relates to being a Franklin, what would be that thing? He said, well, right now, the main thing is in my mind, I want to change my last name. He said, I'm this close to changing my last name. I said, well, wait a minute. That's serious. That's real serious. So many other things I said, but I think the Wiley Show, somebody told me the Wiley Show was recording a portion of it and put it up so y'all can go over there and watch it if you want to. It's freaky how much he is just like his daddy, even the way he talked, his jokes, his mannerisms. He did his daddy's voice. Really freaky. He's terribly talented. And I can't wait to hear the music, the new music, because I asked him about old music. He said he went the long way to explain he's in a different place than what his last music was, so he's working on new music. I want to hear that. John P. Key came in the chat, and you could see him go into it almost like a young boy. But then when I understood the backstory, how his dad used to go to John P. Key concerts and have Kerrion with him, and Kerrion would be in the back. He would stare and be enamored at John P. Key. And he thought John P. Key was a very real, authentic person. So I connected them, and he said he needed positive father figures in his life. So I'm hoping that that will begin to show up in a new way and be a positive impact for Kerrion. I want to know what you guys thought about the conversation, what you thought about what I've shared. 833-LRL Live. Call in right now. I want to know what you think. I I know I'm on California time right now. Y'all up and popping. So I expect to hear from the California LRLers. A lot of you in the comments said nothing good was going to come out of this whole debacle. That's a lie. I really feel in my heart that this is going to end in a good place. Now, it may get real ugly between where we are and where we're going to end up and themselves. But I think it's going to end up in a good place. I'm glad that we have more perspectives added to the story now, because we only have what the bloggers were saying and what Kurt and the mom said and posts from Kerrion, but now we have a little bit more of the story and it can balance out. I'm glad that Kerrion saw that he was wrong for sharing that. And I want to hear what you guys got to say. All right, let's go. Caller ending in 3155. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute.
My name is Ten. I'm calling from Chicago, but I've spent the last, I want to say, 60% of 2020 and 2019 with Carrion. I was tuned into the live that you guys have, and before I say anything, I want to say that I just don't want his lies that I know he's telling in the midst of that to invalidate anything that he spoke to you about, or didn't speak to you about, rather. His personality is very live, as you obviously seen, but him saying that he didn't know CJ and that video, that audio recording was fake, that's not fake. I know CJ and I know Kerrion, and the audio recording was what happened on Christmas. They were recording. Now did Kerrion know he was being recorded? No. So that's not right either. All the recordings, all that, it's not right. But if you're gonna speak and want people to believe you, the truth has to be in there somewhere, and it can't be in the midst of you saying this didn't happen and that didn't happen, and And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to call him a liar. He's a liar, and he has a bad personality. And when I say that, he's very intelligent and very talented. But I want all of this and the end of all this to be him living in some sort of healing in the relation with his father. I have a bad relationship with my father, my parents, and everything. So he knows that I understand his hurt. But if he's going to do it and do it like this, he needs to do it properly. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I got a question. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, you said that you had a bad relationship with your father. It sounded like CJ may have had some problem with his family, and we know Kerrion did. Was that the connection that all of you guys shared together as friends?
Absolutely not. The connection was these Airbnbs that he's speaking about, that he owns and this and the third. It's all a lie. He didn't own anything. At one point, he was homeless, and that's it. I was homeless as well. He told me, so I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. But the way he's talking, he's trying to build up this thing, and it's like if you're gonna allege to something about somebody else, I would stand on your shit. You feel me? Excuse my friends, because I know it's a Christian. But it's like the assistant that he spoke about, he used to talk to her like trash. The last time I saw him, before she passed away, I stopped being around him because of his attitude. He belittles people. He's very condescending. He talks to you in a manner that's not God-like or not good energy-like. And I told him, last time I was on the phone, I said, Kerrion, your karma's going to come back. You can't speak to people like that. I understand if you hurt me, but you can't talk to people like they're trash. You can't do that. Your father's not going to want to step back in if that's how you're going to approach you. And his ego is going to get the best of him, but I really pray that that does not happen.
Okay, let me ask you this. If, in your opinion, is Kerrion an addict or have a substance abuse problem like everybody be trying to say? Oh, okay. I get what that means. But let me ask you this.
I would say that it's a... Okay.
I'm gonna ask you this, though. Now, I recently went to L.A. L.A. is very social, party. Let's drink a little bit. Let's do a little powder.
Absolutely. I live in L.A. I live back in Chicago now. Yep, L.A. is... Yep, exactly.
Okay, so in my opinion, the East Coast don't roll like that. L.A., you can do a little powder. You can do what. Mm-hmm. So
that's why I say I wouldn't call him an addict. Like the word addict is so dramatic.
Okay.
That's so deep.
Okay.
You feel me? So
I got you.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, I got you. All right, I got you because I understand that. Thank you so much for calling in and giving us perspective. But just so you know, he did not substantiate what the recording said. He did not really say, he didn't say it was a lie
but
either.
But when he spoke on, he kept saying that he didn't know. He said he didn't know CJ, he didn't know, and that's not true.
Gotcha. Okay, so he do know CJ.
I was around all of them for 4 months, like last year, during this whole time. He's missing some of his truth, and he's not walking in his truth right now. That's all I'll say.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got some more perspective, and it sounds like, let's suppose if what she said was true, it sounds like that Kerrion deals with his community like his dad allegedly deals with his community, according to other gospel artists that I knew, that he's condescending, he doesn't speak to people right, has an ego issue. I can understand that. People might say that about me. I can see people saying that about me. What you think? I'm saying I'm talking about people that have been around me, because I am a boss, and so I deal a certain kind of way. I can see people saying that about me. So I will probably, if I were a guest man, I bet she was probably telling the truth about that. Mm-hmm. All right. Caller in and then 6183. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute.
Hey, Larry. This is Jim Hawkins. How are you?
I'm well.
All right. Here's what I got to say about it. And I know it sounds oversimplistic, but hurt people hurt people. Mm-hmm. I believe Carrion has some really deep-seated issues. Now, this is just me, Larry. I hate to say it, but I believe Kirk Franklin probably is guilty of what Kerrion accused him of. And until, like you said, they get to the root of the problem, it will just fester and fester and fester, and nothing will ever be solved. Mm-hmm. And he'll be walking around at 50 years old, just as hurt as he is now, if this is never addressed, and addressed correctly. And I'm talking about more than T.D. Jakes, and I love T.D. Jakes, but I'm talking about black people. We have to get to the point where we accept therapy, and not just spiritual therapy, but therapy for our souls, therapy for everyday living, in our hurts and our wounds. And I think until that issue is addressed, this situation is going to be like, he's going to be like a hamster on a wheel. And I feel bad. I really feel bad for the young man, because I could tell from the beginning, this man is hurt. This young man is hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this, Larry, I'm going to get off the phone. I know people who know Mr. Franklin, mm-hmm. and he is not the easiest person to get along with. Yeah. And he is very, very condescending. Everything that you hear it's very true. Yeah. And it's either his way or the highway, and there's no in between. Yeah. And this could really, if Kurt really accepts this could be a humbling experience for him. And maybe the Lord is trying to humble him to get to the point where this issue can be addressed. Gotcha. And that's all I got to say. I'm praying for both of them. And Larry, I got to say, I love you. I love your platform. I don't always agree with you, but I appreciate the fact that you allow us to have an open dialogue.
All right, man. Thank you so very much.
All right. God bless.
I would happen to agree with him. Now, I am going to give Kurt the benefit of a doubt, because he is at the top of the gospel thing. And so he's a boss. So I can see people being like, because that happens to me. And it's not always warranted. I'm not I'm almost said the word, an a-hole. But when it comes to business, this is how this is going to be running like this. Especially if I'm paying for it. So you just need to go over there, sit down somewhere, and you wipe your tears because it ain't going to be your way, it's going to be mine. So that can come across as a certain kind of way, and that may be what Kirk is doing. But I have heard many people say that working with him is not easy. And there's a lot of broken relationships he's had. It looked as though he broke some relationships with some people that was even some of them members of the family. And then again with God's property, that whole thing, so there have been some struggles that he has had. Yeah. So it's interesting. Caller ended in 1236. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute. Did I hit it? Hello? All right. Caller ending in 6258. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute.
Hey, Larry. This is Sonia calling from the D. I just listening to this whole conversation. His relationship with his dad reminds me of David and Absalom. David was so busy trying to be a king that he forgot to be a father. And Kirk Franklin was still trying to build his brand and be the great gospel singer and all this. He forgot to be a father. Instead of David approaching his son like a father, he approached him as a king. And this is what this kind of reminds me of. And so in that, Absalom did everything that David loved. Absalom attacked. He attacked. He slept with the women David had. He tried to take the kingdom. Everything that David put his attention on, he attacked. And so this is what this kind of reminds me of. And I'm really praying for him because whatever this young man's been through, he's masking the hurt, whatever it is. And so I'm praying that they get that together. And I pray that Kurt put down Kirk Franklin, the great gospel singer, and pick up Kirk Franklin, the father, and go hug his son.
I agree with that.
That's all I have to say.
I agree with that. Thank you so very much for calling in.
Bye-bye.
I looked down at my comment section and I saw an old trifling, no good, raggedy, low down, ugly, probably triple or quadruple breasted woman that is in my comment section coming sideways. She says, Aspen Winters, it looked like. You don't block her yet. Let me talk to her. Don't block her. Aspen Winters, you said you love kicking people while they are down. Your day is coming too, sweetie. Let me tell you something. Larry do not kick people when they are down. But when they're down in my comment section talking sideways, I kick them. Let me tell you what's going to happen to you. What's going to happen to you is the exact thing that you were thinking in your mind when you said what you said to me. What's coming, what you thought was coming to me someday, is going to be visiting your house in 7. All right, let's call her. Caller ending in 0440. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute.
Hey, Larry, my name is Alan Hudson. I'm calling from Maryland, D.C. area. Yeah, man, I've been paying real close attention to this situation. And, bro, believe it or not, man, I see this Kirk Franklin family thing as simply being a conduit for what God is trying to tell all of us. It's time to get right with him. It's time to get right with him. Family secrets have to cease, and people got to get it together. Kirk's got to get it together. I believe he's using Kirk because Kirk is the biggest name in gospel. He gets the most attention, gets the conversation started. But this is far bigger than Kirk and Kerrion.
Agreed.
I listened to the live earlier. Kerrion seemed to be extremely credible. A young lady called earlier that had some negative things to say that might be personal between the two of them, but it seemed very bright, very clear-headed, very intelligent. But this is much bigger, and if we don't get together as the body of Christ with all of this stuff that we're doing up in God's pulpit, there's nothing sacred about what we're doing. There's nothing sacred about the way Kirk dances on the stage. If we don't get it together, man, COVID-19 is going to seem small to what the Lord will unleash on us. We got to answer the bell. We've got to take scripture literally. The young lady that spoke right before me, I can tell she's a Bible learned woman. She has a connection with the Lord, and so I solicit her that she be an intercessor for this situation, and you too, Ed. Let's be intercessors for this, man, and let's hope that the connection with John P. Key helps Kerrion. But I think from everything I've seen, he's in a better place than his father.
Yeah.
You know, he's in a better place than his father. And I pray for Kurt. We love his music, but then there's some things that we've gone far too far. If we think that we're going to be in God's kingdom, far too far.
I hear you. All right. Thanks so much. I would have to agree with that. I think all these situations, anytime a situation becomes public and we start discussing it, it's not just for, if the people that's involved never learn their lesson or never get what the healing process, never get what they're supposed to get out of it, we that are discussing it, I hope we ain't just talking about it to be talking about. We should be learning from this, how to respond. That's the reason why I've done reading things my way. It's all about my life, the ups and downs. And actually, I'm going into a second season of it in December. But between there, I'm doing a documentary on myself and just tell you guys everything. A lot of it I said in Reading Things My Way. You go to readingthingsmyway.tv. You can watch all 12 episodes. It's things that I've said out here, but most of you just come and learn about the platform, so you don't know about my personal life. And so I explain so much. I put it there so you can watch. And the right moves I made, you make them moves. The wrong moves I made, don't make those moves. I think we should all be learning from watching everybody out here in these streets. I hope that we are. I think it is time to heal. Somebody said CJ on the line, Larry. Okay, CJ, if you're on the line, his last, okay, they told me his last, okay, here it is. All right, CJ, you are on the line.
Hi, Larry.
Hey there.
Nice to speak to you.
You got the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
I'm just calling in because I wanted to be done with this in the first place. This was not supposed to be me coming from behind the scenes and explaining why I had to leak the tape. Mm-hmm. Like I told you in our Instagram DM, Larry, behind the scenes, Tasha K was going at me. So that's why I came out on the Pascal show. Because no matter how y'all feel about me, if y'all thought I was intoxicated or high, in my interview on the Pascal show, the bigger picture is, was Kerrion molested? Do I believe him? Yes. Did we live together in this Airbnb? Yes. Did that come out of nowhere? Yes. It was the conversations we were all having living together in the living situation, but just because y'all want to say he on drugs, which, you know, that's his business, and y'all want to say, oh, I was not there all the way in my interview. When Pascal called me, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. So, and I'm on LA time. So 7 a.m., that's in the beginning of the phone call, you can hear my voice is hoarse. It was early, but I had to get in front of this because of what was going on behind the scenes. Kerrion's story is important to me. He may not want to tell it. He may not want to, be comfortable with saying that he was molested by another man. But in that argument, he said it. And now I gave the video to Tasha K now. So now Tasha K has the video. And she can give her take on it. I gave her the full 40-minute audio. She can give her piece on it. Because this was not staged. This was not fake. She said it was fake. She was going against me on the YC show behind the scenes. She blocked my number. I tried getting in contact with her. I had to speak to her husband. And now tonight that I got word, Kerrion went live saying he don't know me and that I'm a stalker. Mr. Larry Reid, this is not the case. And it's not about me. It's not about me, it's about Kerrion and his story. And I wish Armand would have put out the whole tape at first because I gave it to him. But he chose to play that 2-minute piece because there's a lot of bullshit in the argument. There's a lot of us going back and forth and saying very nefarious things to each other, but it needed to be handled with care. So I trusted Armand and I gave it to him. He didn't pay me for the audio. This is why I wanted to be anonymous, and I'm really trying my hardest not to read the comments because I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Yeah, don't read the
about
comments.
how anybody feels. What were you about to say?
I was saying don't read the comments, and since I'm talking now, I want to say this. It was my opinion. I thought that you were, high or something, but you said you were not high, so I apologize for saying that, for saying something that possibly could have offended you or hurt your feelings, but it was just my commentary and what I thought at the time.
And I respectfully thank you for your apology. It's no beef, Mr. Larry Reid. It's not about me. It's not about, and I'm upset that I have to come out the woodwork and explain why I leaked the tape. Because, yes, like I said on the Pascal show, I just wanted to get it out there and I wanted to get paid. That was it. I didn't want to be behind none of this. And if people think that's wrong and that's evil, I don't care, because if y'all had an audio of the Kirk Franklin son saying that his father molested him, I think you guys would try to sell it too. Let's be real. So that's why
I will say this.
Trying to just sell it and move on with my life.
But CJ, I would say this though, and I'm gonna say this I'm not really saying in CJ defense, but I do know this. In LA, when it comes to celebrities, if you have information on any celebrity, a picture, audio, video, it is pretty much the custom that you sell it to the media. So I want to say that so that, because here on the East Coast, we don't experience that even in Atlanta. You go to Atlanta, you can see T.I. and what's his name, they're all out here, so it's not even exclusive. But when I was there on Rodeo Drive, I was looking, because, TMZ and everybody sitting there lurking, trying to get pictures of certain people. So it's pretty much the culture in L.A. to move like that. So the fact that you wanted to wait to see who was going to pay for what, I get it.
And that's all that was. And Tasha K didn't want to pay me. Armand Wiggins did not pay me. When I was unsuccessful at selling the tape, I said, you know what? It's bigger than me trying to sell this tape. This needs to get out there. So I gave it to Armand Wiggins, and they have beef behind the scenes. So she called me and was, a little bit upset that I gave it to Armand Wiggins. And, it was like Tasha K, like, come on, girl, you didn't want to pay me. So whatever, I gave it to Armand Wiggins because this whole audio needs to be handled with care. And that gave it to her. So when Tasha K, I know she's going to run a story tomorrow or soon, I gave it to her. So whatever she decides to do it with, and then how she decides to break down this 40-minute audio, is on her.
Yeah. Wow.
And there's another blogger just as big as Tasha K, who's just as more credible than Tasha K. There's another blogger that I'm not going to name who's had the tape since I gave the tape to Armand. So it's not like I just gave it to Armand and Armand. No, there's another huge commentator just as credible, more credible than Tasha K, who has it as well. So if Tasha K don't want to run her story, she don't got to. Because the shit in the audio is nuts, Larry Reid. I'm telling you that. The stuff in the audio is nuts and it's insane. But I trusted Armand with it because of the delicacy of it. It's delicate. Even though we were arguing,
he did good. Armand did really good with it.
There's some stuff in there that's going to make Carrión look horrible. And if I was anonymous, If I would have remained, if I would have remained anonymous, I wouldn't have cared what y'all thought about me. But since now I have to come forward because of what was going on behind the scenes, there are some very nasty things in the audio. So that's why I just wanted to sell it and be done with it. But the point was to get Kerrion's story out there. And if Kerrion wants to be an ASS in the media, then that's on him. I gave him an opportunity and a platform to tell his story, but he knows we know each other. We know each other very well. I know how to get access to him. He's not hard to find. If his father want to find him, slide into my DM, Kurt Franklin, and I can tell you what Kerrion is. It's not like, I don't know why he went on this live today. That really broke my heart because Kerrion, you know what you went through. And I guess you're trying to protect your abuser. If that's what you want to do, protect your abuser, then fine. And I'm going to stay out of it now. I did my job. I did what I had to do.
Can I ask you a question?
I'm a victim of molestation too.
Can I ask you a question? I have a whole lot of different contacts all over have a lot of contacts all over the world. I have LRLers all over the world. And I have an LRLer that's telling me that they know you. And tell me if this is true or not. They said that the reason why that Kerrion said that you were a stalker because that's really how y'all relationship started. But after he got to know you, you guys began to hang. And he trusted you to be around him, then y'all became okay. So when he said today...
Carried on. Yeah. That's why I'm upset over here, Mr. Larry Reid. Because Kerrion, I was not stalking that boy. I was living at that house before him, and he got hired on as help. And he had interest in me. So for the people who ask me this Kerrion, and I'm not going to out anybody, but I'm just going to let y'all know that I know I'm gay, and I know when another man has seeks interest in me. So y'all can run with that. But I was not going to be trying to date and hook up with a housekeeper. You a housekeeper? No, sir. But we were cool. We was cool. It was cordial. It was cute. It was coy. And then things started going downhill because Kerrion, like his father said on his Chairman Hall interview, has a very strong personality. And he's not short like his father, Kurt Franklin. Kerrion is not 5'2". Kerrion is over 6 feet tall. So I can see why now his father and him having seen each other in 10 years, as Kerrion said, because Kerrion big now. So which I believe that he was being molested when he was younger. He ain't that little boy no more. He big, well taller than his father, and is very menacing. And when he gets upset, he is hostile. And like you saw for yourself, when you talk to him, he is off the chain. He is a little bit
he's
not there.
He's spicy.
His story.
I can tell.
That does not mean that what he said and what he admitted is not true. And that's why I put it out there, because I believe him. I know him.
Okay, when you say you know him, you mean like the Bible say know him? Or you just know him?
Like the who said they know him?
No, in the Bible when they say they know each other.
You said, me and Kerrion lived together in that house for almost 6 months. I know him. We were roommates for a long time. I know him very well.
Okay. All right, we'll just leave it at that.
I know what car he drives. I know, he slept in the room across the hall from me. So, I don't know how much more personal about a person you can get.
Okay. Oh, well, Jesus. Okay. You know what, CJ? You've cleared your...
And I'm not trying to be aggressive, sir. I'm not trying to be aggressive. I apologize if I'm coming off hostile.
No, you're not. You're not. No, you're not. Let me ask you this, though. Did you want a relationship with Kerrion at some point in time and he rejected the relationship? I just want to know that.
Oh, no, I'm not going to answer that question because, like I said before, I know what I am, and I know when a man is trying to hit on me. And Kerrion, like his father said, has a strong personality. He is off the chain, like you said on your live tonight. Like you felt like Kerrion is not really all the way there. So I was not about to fool with that. But we lived together. I had to keep it cordial. We were living in a house together. I had to be cordial. But did we have arguments? A lot, yes. Was I when we got into it, did I feel sometimes I needed to record? Because this is not the only recording I have with Kerrion. Yes, because in LA, like I said on the Pascal show in Los Angeles, you cannot just call the police on somebody because you're scared. Something got to happen for the police to come. So there were times where I recorded because it was getting too much, and I needed to make sure I had evidence, because Kerrion does have a behavior of bending the truth and not being 100% truthful.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling in, and I think we have a little bit more clarity because you decided to share so openly. All right. Thank you, CJ.
Is there anything else you want to ask me? Because this tape is coming out. Tasha K is gonna run it. I hope she do. Since Armand don't want to do it.
I went over there to Tasha K to do an interview about this story. She should be running it soon, so she's probably gonna run it and pair it with that. But she got so many recordings that she have to release. She do her shows and record them and then release them. So we'll see what happens. But I'm a commentator. I don't break stories. So like when she put it out or whoever gonna put it out, I'll listen to it and I come back here and talk about it. And I'll just make sure that if you and the young lady that called in earlier that were friends with Kerrion, I think I got y'all inboxes on IG. So if anything else I need to know, I'll ask you guys.
And thank you, Larry Reid. And
right.
I will say, before we hang up the phone, that was how I spent my Christmas. So when Kerrion wants to come out and say I'm a stalker, whatever, Kerrion, but you know what went down between us on Christmas, and you know how you are not the nicest guy in the world, but that does not mean that I don't believe your story. So I'm going to put that out there. Kerrion and I are not friends. We not cool no more. We, had whatever you wanted to say our roommate relationship was. For me, I just had to keep it cordial. But on my Christmas day, when me and him were having this wild argument, that's how my Christmas went. And shortly after the argument, when he made the statement that his father molested him, he threw out the Christmas tree, Larry Reid. And if you want the receipt for that, I can DM that to you. Because I'm not a lie. I don't lie. So Kerrion threw out that damn Christmas tree, and we was all just like, wow, okay, damn, Kerrion.
Wow.
Like, you just still bugging. Like, you just be bugging.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to hit you up, CJ. Thank you so much.
So now I'm done. Now I won't speak to nobody else. Kerrion, do what you need to do. If you want to make yourself look like a dumbass and send invoices, talk about your Swank Media Company, do that, sir. But I gave you an opportunity to tell your story, and now you want to shit on me. So, Kerrion, respectfully, sir, fuck you. And I hope that you and your dad amend things and y'all work on y'all relationship. God bless you, Kerrion.
All right. Thanks, CJ.
You're welcome, Mr. Larry Reid.
You know, with CJ and the young lady and Kerrion all in one group, I would like to be around with my camera because they are hilarious. They are interesting to me. That's CJ's story. And I heard him. I do see why Kerrion referred to him as a stalker if it is true, according to my LA leak, that CJ, was sort of pining after Kerrion. And then Kerrion let down his guard and trusted him. They became some kind of friends. And then, well, yeah, I'm going to say they became some kind of friends. They just aren't friends now. So between CJ's account and Kerrion's account, I can see the truth of the nature of their relationship. And I can also see why Kerrion will probably not want to be in any relationship with CJ, because it was CJ that leaked this allegation that Kerrion said, but never said publicly to us. It was supposed to be something amongst his friends. So CJ put that out there. This too darn much. I got to go to bed. Y'all go in the comment section and say whatever you want to say. I'm so sick of these retainers. Oh, my God. This is a lot. I got to go to sleep on top of all of this. All right, there are almost 5,000 of you guys between both platforms, Facebook and YouTube, last time I looked down. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want everybody to go to Twitter. I want this conversation to trend. So everybody go to Twitter. I think that's the way you do it. Go to Twitter and type Larry Reid Live interviews Kerrion Franklin. Everybody type that in the chat, then copy it and go put it on your Twitter account. Just tweet that. And hopefully all of the outlets will come and see this entire story, because they're only reporting one part of the story. They'll see this entire story, but they're thousands of us. We can make it happen. We don't need but really 2,000 of you to do it over there on Twitter. Okay? Lord Jesus! I'm going to have to go blood wipe myself down in the blood and the love of Jesus so that I can actually go to sleep. Because after something like this, you need a drink. Have I got some Moscato? Oh, I do. Oh, that I got from LA. Okay. So, but it ain't going to help nothing. It might make me a little sleepy. It ain't but 5% alcohol. It'll calm me down? Jesus will calm me down. I don't need no Moscato. All right. See y'all later. Peace. Twitter.
Stay connected to Larry Reid Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube page, and hit the bell. Text Larry Reid Live to 33222. That's the words Larry Reid Live, no spaces, to 33222, and get notified when we go live. Become a member of Patreon today by logging on to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Download the Patreon app and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.
yeah.